These teams love Broodmother.
Yeah, that's a full possibility. And I think Wisp is high priority, as you said, but I'm not sure if Vici are 100% about banning it, as C9 just came down from winner bracket, losing when they played Wisp. So there's a possibility they will try letting them play it and bait out the same type of contest against it.
Yes, but CDEC had a full, 3 days to prepare against Cloud9, whereas Vici has only had 1 day, and I think that makes a big difference. And as we saw, I.M.O was super prepared versus Team Secret. The few days of difference is a lot of time in preparation.
It definitely is. It makes a huge difference for a team. So far, Bounty Hunter and Undying be the bans from Cloud9, and Leshrac, Naga Siren banned out by Vici. So Gyrocopter and Queen both going through. I think Queen probably going to get first pick, but it is C9, and they do love Gyro really much.
I really don't think Gyro is their hero, though. Like I watch Cloud9 play Gyro a lot, and I feel like they don't use the hero as well as the other teams do. They're not aggressive enough with it. I really want Cloud9 to go back to what they used to play, which is I'd really like to see. Well, they went for the Gyro again. I hope they use it differently this time around, and they play.
Wow.
They need to try to play more aggressive than what we saw.
Well, Cloud9 also typically likes to leave the options over for later for Fada, so Beastmaster and Dragonite perhaps are options for Fada later on. So I'm kind of happy that they picked up Gyrocopter fairly early, if they wanted to go for that type of carry anyway, so that Fada can have the hero of his choice later on.
If you're Bone7, you're intimidated. They picked those two heroes so quickly that, I mean, you saw him, he had a huge binder as he was walking out. I wonder what's in there, but when a team picks Clockwork and Lina that quickly, you know that they knew.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't expect anything else than a Gyrocopter first pick there, I think. So now Cloud9 are a little bit thrown off. And
usually they would go for Wisp here. They're probably really hesitant about it, though, because of the Lina.
That's definitely a thing, as you said as well. When you pick really quickly, you put the enemy team on the spot. It's like, okay, what are we going up against? Most likely your brain is going to tell you it's a pocket strat. They have prepared 5 heroes in particular they want against us because they picked that quickly.
Yeah.
But they're going to go for the Wisp again. It is a nice way to activate and get the Gyrocopter ganking. I have seen games where C9 played really beautiful active ganking Gyrocopter, but that was with a Beastmaster, not the DK mid. That's when it really came online the most.
Bone7's just wondering if this is a trap, though.
If you're Cloud9 right now, you're going to look at the ban, see if that gives anything away, because, as you said, I mean, they're probably expecting something, and, I mean, from our point of view, it's just Clockwork and Alina, you know, it can be anything.
Yeah. So far, it's very standard as well. It's just Leshrac and Naga being banned out. Yeah. So the second phase is when Vici really are showing their colors. So getting rid of the Winter Wyvern, good counter to Wisp, as we saw earlier. Can definitely lead to Gyrocopter team killing. Nice to get rid of that.
Yeah, they're taking their time, not as prompt with their bans in this in the second ban phase here as they were with the picks.
Yeah, I think so far, I mean, we talked about how Vici hasn't had, 3 days to prepare or anything, but so far the draft is pretty predictable from C9. If you're just to think about it, what 2 heroes will they pick if we leave Gyro and Wisp? Like, it's probably going to be those 2 heroes. Most of the times C9 will take that.
I'd like to I'm watching those drafts, and I'd like to see a Venomancer from C9. They play core Veno on Fada, and I think it can be quite effective versus the way Vici plays, especially when you have a Wisp lineup, because you're going to delay them from, their push is going to be delayed by a lot, and if you actually force the issue and try to dive the Venomancer and, couple, maybe even 3 heroes gets hit by Veno's ulti, and then Wisp relocate into that could be really, really hard to fight into. I think it's they have so many picks they haven't tried yet or haven't used.
Yeah,
I'd really like to see those.
They only played 1 game of Venomancer in the entire group stage. It did work for them, I think. I can't recall. Either way, it did a lot of work in the game. Can't recall if they won it, but Fada does love to play that. And he plays it pretty suicidal. We'll get his Blink Dagger at some point and just jump in, get ulti on everyone, which makes it quite easy for Gyro.
He really is a space maker. He's the type of mid hero that farms a lot, but he creates space with the way he farms. He's not going to farm your jungle or to steal farm from Envy, the safe farm. He's just going to push it to the limits, push out the lanes, be out of position a bit, but just be ready to go back because he has good map awareness. He's that type of mid-oriented farmer, so
he's pretty selfless in the way he plays, and that's why I think it was a smart ban by Vici to get rid of Beastmaster, because as you say, map awareness. When he has the Hawks up, he micros them really well, and it's so hard to gank anyone on C9.
And they have a 100% win rate with him as well, so far in the international. So picked it 3 times for Fada, 3 times a win. Good smart ban. They just profit. the last ban. Very unusual.
I think Cloud9 should brood at this point. There's no Darks here because there's Clockwork already taken by Vici Gaming. And I think it's very common for people to pressure a lot with brood so that I.O can get his level 6. And they actually don't really have any good brood counters. Storm Spirit, I think, is actually one of the better safe laners versus them, but aside from that, there aren't that many left.
Yeah,
Bird, maybe.
It could really abuse the Rubik as well. Like, he's not a very good support against Broodmother early on. He can definitely get chased down by the spiders. I think it's in their mind already, because when it's not banned in the second phase, every team is going to think about it, like, can we get away with this? And for Vici Gaming, it's not as strong, so maybe
yeah, they can just wait
for second.
Fourth.
Yeah, exactly, as a fourth pick.
Well, they've been going for the Rubik a lot. There's no surprise there.
Shadow Fiend.
Oh my god, the instant picks from Vici again.
Yeah, they are prepared, and that's also confirmed in Alina for Super. So excited to see that for him. He's a very defensive mid player, I find sometimes, but on Alina he is anything but defensive.
Yeah, and this is also finalizing. We have the Clockwork, the AA. You can definitely see where this is going. Clockwork hooks in, AA sends ulti. You have the Lina, who brings a lot of his damage really quickly in a burst. And Rubik is pretty much just a popular Eastern support hero. He has been played a lot by any of the Chinese teams. I think this is a really solid draft so far. Curious to what carry they want. Maybe that is situational of the game, though.
To me, the only weakness of Vici's draft right now is that they lack physical damage, like incredibly. They have almost only magical damage. I'd say Luna is mostly magical as well, at least until she gets like Butterfly and items like this, and then sure, but I feel like, you know, both Gyro and SF are BKB carriers, like they're gonna get it quite early, and the 4 heroes Vici have right now, they don't really deal well with the BKBs. Sure, when Lina gets act and everything, but if you shut down the Lina a bit, my point is that Vici's last hero is gonna have to be very, very good at dealing physical damage, else there is a big window for Cloud9 to actually take objectives.
I'll try and summon a hero that hasn't been picked a lot then. Let's just imagine a Void pick for Vici Gaming.
Yeah.
It could work really well into your lineup. And
it really could. And it's gonna
your description.
Exactly, and it's gonna turn this magical damage into, like, you know, potential damage, because obviously when you're chronoed you can't use your BKB, so all those heroes become relevant. It would be a really good pick, actually.
What do you make of this draft so far, Merlini?
I mean, on Vici's side, they have all ultis that are like pretty low cooldown. I think that Faceless Void would be pretty good, and I like it a lot, but I mean, they tend more towards the safer carries, right? For the Phantom Lancer, for the Ember Spirit, for the Anti-Mage that we've seen so often.
Yeah. Pogna Bang incoming, probably, from Vici.
I just want to say that I really like the fact that Cloud9 just stick to their guns. I think, again, they lost twice yesterday with it, but I still think it's the right way, like it's the right approach for them. And I'm pretty sure they will bounce back. I'm giving them energy, you know, because I'm always for the dark horse. But I think it's a very positive sign.
Yeah, it can always be risky to just change up completely just because something didn't work against one team, and that team is on fire right now. I mean, CDEC is really crushing, so I don't think that C9 needs to change his strat.
I like Vici bringing back the Rubik AA duo. AA is a hero that we really haven't seen that much, but he's actually a really strong roamer in combination with someone that you can actually get some right clicks off. Rubik, Vengeful Spirit, for example, and we've seen some Shadow Fiends get away with a ton of farm. This time, Shadow Fiends is on Dire. They have a strong mid, and they have a double strong support duo.
Yeah, and later on, of course, stopping the I.O from doing any forms of heals on the Gyrocopter or Shadow Fiend, whoever he's tethered to. That will have a big impact as well. Will make the fights a bit shorter, that's for sure.
Yeah, removing the Brood as a 5th pick here.
It was quite smart, because I'm pretty sure they were still thinking of the Brood. It could have helped them a lot as a pocket pick, but especially because they have the last pick. But it's not going to be an option now. Good awareness from
It would have been, would have been a devastating pick against Rubik and AA, who really don't want to face up against that early on. Lina being the only one who really likes that matchup. I wonder what C9. Oh, they can remove Ember. That's true. That could be a fighting carry that suits here. Still plenty of magical damage though, until you really hit that late game, similar to Luna when you add your physical.
Well, if you're playing against Cloud9, at some point you kind of have to play late game.
And that's the pocket pick, the House Spectre.
The global strat is real from Vici.
And they really started picking Spectre when Hao joined, because he's such a great Spectre player. He's always been.
I'm excited for this. Spectre is one of my favorite heroes to watch. Despite her being farmy and slow, her ulti, I mean, you can contribute every time you have it up, and that's more than many carries do, actually.
Cloud9 have a big opening, a really big opening, because Spectre is not also this physical damage dealer. I think they need to get something that wants to group up as well. And when they get those BKBs on Gyro and SF, they just go and push towers.
Yeah, Spectre's super risky here. Like, her laning phase is really, really weak. We've seen Cloud9 run Gyro Wisp in the off lane a lot to pressure stronger melee carries than Spectre, and Spectre being super weak, the Rubik and AA can't really do that much.
I think an aggressive hero like this is great. I really like the Phoenix because they're going to force the issue not too early, but at some point they're going to be on the offensive, and that's very good for them in that game.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. We will be returning to the analysis desk at the very end, but now time to go over to our commentary team for the final game of the day.
That's right, I'm Capitalist. I'm joined by Blitz, Cloud9 versus Vici Gaming. And as you can see, we've got some rabid fans on both sides of the table. But one of these sides of fans is going to be walking home pretty sad because we are in our last series of the night, and it is an elimination match, Blitz.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy too. It's C9 versus Vici Gaming, both teams that you would never have expected either of these teams to be in the situation that they are. Cloud9 is a consistent top 5 finisher in most tournaments. Vici Gaming throughout the year looked dominant at various stages, and the fact that one of these teams have to go home and have a chance to play against MVP Phoenix, who already waits for them in the top 8, is pretty absurd to me.
All right, so we have our game started here. What I love about this first game between Vici Gaming and Cloud9 is that we've got some signature heroes on both sides of the table. So let's run over them, shall we? Eternal Envy is going to be playing his Gyrocopter Misery. Signature hero for him, probably one of the best Banes in the business. We've got, of course, Big Daddy No Tail on his Wisp. Mid is going to be Fada playing the SF, and that just leaves Bone7 playing the Phoenix. But here's another one. Vici Gaming, they've got Hao playing the Spectre. Blitz, what did you think about that last pick, Spectre?
I really like it. I think it synergizes incredibly well with their lineup. They've got the AA ultimate plus the Clockwork Rocket. There's plenty of damage to specialize with the Haunt. And Hao, he's one of the best Spectre players in the world, if not the best. He's one of the few people that still run it. And that's how you know you're good at a hero. If your team still runs it for you and nobody else picks it, it means that it is a hero that you specialize in. But C9, like you said, they've got a few flavor picks. An interesting thing about Bone7's Phoenix, apparently, No Tail was a god at the hero, and so he actually helped them a lot in learning it.
Oh, wow, look at that. FY already grabbing the very early counter ward against Cloud9 in that top rune spot. FY is going to be playing Rubik, of course, probably one of the best Rubiks out there in the world right now. Cloud9, we're actually going to have an early level 1 fight over the bounty rune. Fada's already setting himself up. Hao's going to challenge him. Meanwhile, Ice, though, he's locked inside of the cogs with Misery. That's not a place he wants to be, and he'll be giving up first blood. Misery, though, the turnaround kill for Vici Gaming. So they did snag the bounty rune there on Hao, but gave up the first blood in the process. And that top bounty rune is actually still there. All 5 members of both team went down to the bottom. Looks like Bone7 is going to be the one to snag it.
And Bone7 has a pretty absurd start. He got the first blood last hit. He's about to get a bounty rune. Halfway to level 2. This is going to be so difficult for Ice to recover, who decided to go for the boots build. But Bone7, knowing that he was going to be in the safe lane, opts for a much less defensive build. This is a lot better for the lane, just because Ice only has 1 set of regen, and that clarity is not going to help him in this lane. Whereas Bone7, 2 sets of regen, immediately going for the for the Tranquil Boots, which he already has pretty much.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, the fact that he can pick up boots right away. And this matchup is not terribly favorable for the Clockwork either, right? Because the big thing about Fire Spirit slowing down your attack speed so drastically is that Ice, if he uses cogs at the wrong moment and he's Fire Spirited up, he can't actually get out of his own cogs.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a really good way. I didn't think of that. It's going to be hard for him to deal with this lane regardless, just because of the advantage that he started out with. Giving a hero first blood